right. Every time I land in Mumbai airport, I always wonder how it would be if I can convert at least 10% of the empty looking open terraces into an organic farming. What if one society can grow palak and one society can grow methi and someone can grow maybe a carrot or brinjal or radish, and then they all come together and just go back like our olden days of bartering system, and then they can still have a very healthy and fresh zero carbon footprint vegetables. So let me just give a glimpse like how this concept of urban farming or edible landscaping came into my mind, how the seed came into me. During one of my Viva session during my college, and my pomology course teacher during my course of Viva, she was just asking me a question like, what tree would you plant if given a choice in a children's playground? So I listed all the ornamental trees, and that came to my mind, and she asked me, why not a fruit tree? So I said, no one plants a fruit tree in a playground since children will be plucking the fruits and they will be throwing stone at it. And she said that exactly that is the reason you should plant a fruit tree, because children are supposed to eat fruits, and that is to ensure that nutrition thing, they have to be taken care. And this one discussion, maybe it's not extended for more than 2 minutes, but it's got deeply embedded in my mind. After I came to Mumbai 25 years back, still I recall that incident. And I was always fascinated about this edible landscaping concept. 10 years back, I just came across an article in about Microsoft. This Microsoft was allocating individual plots for their employees inside their 700-acre campus. And every employee were given a small section of it, and they were allowed to grow vegetables as an individual and as a team, and they were allowed to take it back to their home. And they found that this one thing builds a lot of team bonding between each other, and this is a very good exercise for them because they always sit in front of a screen, and just to de-stress themselves, they just come out. Okay, so I took this is an excellent thing, but unfortunately, when I tried, if anyone is trying this concept in India 10 years back, I found none of my colleagues in across the country were trying this concept in IT parks or any in the workplace. This one, so I thought, let me make a small effort in this area, which no one has tried it. So unfortunately, in landscaping, it's always like maintenance. They only use these ornamental plants, lawns, and flowering shrubs and trees. And horticulturists are mostly trained to only do this maintenance aspect of landscaping. That do particularly very aesthetic landscaping only, because it's not their fault, because the architects and landscape designer give them this and they just implement it. So you don't, you need people who come out of this mindset. So I thought, let me try this. Okay, so every year normally when we conduct a green initiative, we just take this tree plantation drive as common every year. So for a change, I just told the client, for this change, every year we have been doing tree plantation drive. We have done enough trees. So for a change, why not we go for a growing vegetable in the campus? So they were really thrilled about the idea. So I just gave them all the inputs like your soil, manure, or the bags, in fact, low cost thing. Like since a construction company, we had this gunny bags. So we had this composting thing happening inside my campus. So I didn't need to buy manure. So I just gave them all the soil, manure, everything inside the campus. And they started growing the seeds, and they saw it happening live in front of them, the germination, the flowering, the fruit set, and they harvested about 50 kg of the fruits, and they donated it to an orphanage. And they have this green points, which has to be scored for the green initiative across the globe. And out of all the companies across the globe, this one small unit won the best initiative. So this small thing actually inspired me to take this and make it bigger. So I thought,
Rajesh, sorry, please continue.
Yes. So this is where we started the first time. Like, for example, you can see how the plot is selected, and the moment we select the plot, it should be open area, as you see, like where, because since IT Park, the space is we have constraint in spaces, so we don't have a choice. Wherever I get a space, I just rush in there and then put up the request, and then I just grab the place. And luckily, my management has not objected till now. And we invite the clients, we share them the calendar for sowing the seeds, and invite them, and they just join us. It's a party time for them because it's a break from the normal routine. And we try what nots all the vegetables and seeds, you name it, we try them in the IT park. Right from sugarcane, you will see the list. I'll be sharing it shortly. So once they sow and we invite them to come back during the lunch break, they come, they take care of the plants and they do the watering, and we encourage them to do the weeding so that they have a little more attached to these plants. So once the season, at the end of the season, we just invite them again for the harvest. Again, it's a group harvest. And see, like it is, they come empty-handed and they go back hands full. And you know what type of feeling they get, because since they know it's an organic thing, they don't even wash it. Like they pluck the tomato, eat, and they pluck the cucumbers, or they pluck the bendi, and then they just test to see the taste of it. Like when we talk organic, and when they see it is really organic, and then they see how fresh it is, and the joy they get is different. In fact, we invite those family members along with the kids. For example, you see this photo where actually they have never seen a sweet potato grown in a they have never seen a sweet potato plant itself. In fact, when the parents and the kids, they join together and they show them, see, this is the area where you can dig and find a treasure out. So they didn't know what I'm talking about. The moment they started digging that area and they found sweet potatoes under the ground, first time they realized that sweet potatoes grow below the ground. So it's an education for both the parents and the kids. So it's like a joint family learning in the urban farming. This is something, when we don't have space in the ground, we look up at the sky and we get the terraces and we start doing the same operation, but instead of doing it on the ground, we take it up on the containers, and the same thing, soil filling, soil and manure filling, seed and seedling sowing, and seed sowing and seedling planting. And since this being an terrace on above their roof, they just harvest it and then take it back down to their desktop, rooftop to the desktop, and then directly to the kitchen for the dinner. We try different concepts here. What we share with these people, like a simple one is this square feet gardening. This is very simple and easy concept, which we always teach to people. Like this 4 feet by 4 feet simple square, we gets converted into 16 squares, and they try to grow about, we can grow about 16 different type of vegetables. For example, the depth of the soil over there is 1 feet, and very simple and easy concept introduced by Mr. Mel Bartamilo, what we call, like this is absolutely no competition among the plants because they are so densely planted. And for example, you get about 16 radish, 16 methi, 16 dhania, and you can plant one brinjal plant, one a tomato, and one maybe capsicum. So the more the size of bigger size of the plant, you restrict to one, and the smaller the one, and you can plant about 16 of them into that. And we can even make a trellis out of this and make the creepers climb over there. And this can be kept on a table, and even a senior citizen, people who are sitting on a chair, they can even operate it. And hardly you need 1 bucket of water to maintain the whole thing in a day. And in Mumbai, you know, the problem for us is the very space constraint over here. We all have balconies, or very small balconies, or we hardly have a grill, and I need to occupy that. That is the space all I have, and if I'm lucky, I get some good sunlight. And so still people like to grow. So here we have been growing. Hello. Yeah. Here actually this gutter pipe, which is we normally use for the drainage thing, semi-cut PVC pipes, which is closed on both the end. We fill the media into that, and that can be fitted on your grill, and you can grow vegetables, mostly shallow-rooted ones in this. And normally, whenever we have a workshop, the common questions or challenge we face is from people is, sir, mujhe bahar jana padta hai. Like I cannot water my plants daily, and there is no one in my house who can do the watering. So what do I do? So we try to evolve different solutions, and this one is the same thing, non-circulating hydroponics method. The best one is the Kratsky method. You find a lot of videos in the net. You can try this Kratsky's method, and we just fill the solution into the nutrient solution and the water into it, and then the plant starts growing on its own. You can just simple diagram shown here, and we found this very effective. In fact, all the containers which we are using is recycled. In fact, the bottles which you are showing, or in fact the thermocol containers which normally we drink and throw away, those containers are used here. So everything is recycled here. We don't spend much on developing these concepts. So that people, anyone who comes, will like, yes, even I can do this, or I can replicate this. I don't need to go to a supermarket to buy this fancy pots and all those stuff. And here, this one is very interesting thing. Like for example, if I'm growing in a normal pot, I may grow about 10 or 10 made. This one which I was showing, the tower, 3 gentlemen standing over there, it's actually mint plant. Okay, so if I'm growing on a pot, normally I may not be able to grow more than 10 mints in this. The same, when we took it vertical, we had more than 125 mint plants inside this, and it has been continuously giving me mint for almost last 3 to 4 years, and there is no stopping that. And the portion above that, we actually go for big plants like brinjal or tomato or capsicum or chilies. So you grow for multi-tier. And this concept is very interesting because in Kenya, there is this slum area where actually there was post-election, there was some violence, and almost women and children got trapped there, and there is huge shortage of food. Okay, and there is this Solidarities, there is an NGO from France. They went all the way to teach this people in the slum this concept of this sack gardening, which you're seeing on the right side corner. So the ladies, they started growing food in the sack gunny bags, and that started feeding their children and family, and they started generating food, I mean, like income for their family. So in fact, the small gunny bag garden, actually, that's actually changed the way the people were staying there, and like in fact, they have created entrepreneurs out of this. And we start self-watering pots, which we everything out of low cost. We teach them self-watering pots, and recycling of PET bottles and shade net, which is discarded, we convert them into containers. And this shade net which you are seeing there, they cover the walls, and then we grow all the vegetables on the shade net. It's very easy to do that. Anyone can try this. And microgreens we grow inside the office, and then we had replaced that habit of eating biscuits in the office with the microgreens. In fact, we encourage people to do it at home. So one healthy snacking in the office is something which everyone look forward to. And the small list of the vegetables, which and fruits, vegetables, and herbs which you have tried in the more than 45, and this list is getting added every time. Someone comes with a new variety of seeds, and then we share that, and then we try it in our urban farming. That keeps on increasing every time. And as Atul was telling some very nice, interesting thing about the indoor lighting to grow the plants. And this concept we have introduced inside our office spaces, where this LED lightings are being used to grow herbs, particularly after Corona. We are using this corners as immunity corner, where we are growing tulsi, basil, ajwain, and all sorts of herbs. The beauty is, as Dr. Atul was telling, the plants, they don't need the full solar radiation. All they need is somewhere about 400 to 700 nanometer. And even to a plant in the field, to attain that level of lux intensity, maybe if for example, if the sun is about 11 to 2 or to 3 o'clock, so that's the maximum they get the active PR, photosynthetic active radiation. But the beauty in this light is, the moment I switch on, I get the maximum required light intensity and the photons, and I switch off, yes. So which means the normal plant, which it takes, for example, 60 days to grow, I reach the same growth in 45 days. So that's it's grows very fast, and we have self-watering unit inside this. So no one we don't bother about that. One next interesting thing which we have tried in urban farming is like we keep doing something or other new, so that we have to attract the millennials to the place outside the office, because hardly they come out of the office. The moment they go inside the office, they are working for a different time zone, and they either come out for smoking or just a break or tea, coffee, and then they go back. So we want to do something interesting to make them come back to this urban farming. So we keep on changing it. So this one, because people have a butterfly garden in their campuses, but I thought, let me have a butterfly house. So we showed people the different stages of butterfly life, right from egg, larva, pupa, adult, and we have a butterfly emerging window, the right top corner on the left side you see, and the second photo are those cocoons which are hanging, and you can see butterflies literally emerging out of this thing like this. See, these are the photos which were taken in this. So the butterflies emerge out, and then they 2 to 3 hours, because their wings are wet, so they don't take a flight immediately. It takes some time, and the youngsters, see, this is the type of experience is a once in a lifetime experience the millennials get. And this is worth it, really worth it, an urban farming in an IT park. And we generate a huge volume of food waste in the campus because more than 1 lakh people are working. So every day, 4 to 5 tons of food waste comes to us. And what we do is we turn the entire thing into compost. And the horticulture waste, about 50 acres of campus, each campus about 50 acres. Campus, again, we convert those into vermicompost. And all these things comes back to me for my urban farming as the fertilizer. So last 10 years, I have now purchased manure from outside, and including my landscape area, all these things goes there. And the type of impact this has got on us is more than 300 people keep visiting urban farming thing to learn and relax every day. And many kitchen garden people, in fact, people have during the lockdown, people who have visited and learned there, they started doing it and they started connecting back to me. That's a very big impact I felt like. And as I mentioned, like the wet and horticulture waste, whatever generator getting composted there, and more than 40 to 50 varieties, and we keep on adding and changing it every season, and people keep coming back and back to see that what's coming new in the urban farming. And because of the very positive feedback from the clients, actually the management decided this concept had to be there in all the future projects. And inspired by urban farming, there was a neighboring some school who we invited, and those children wanted to have something similar in their school, and we built one urban farming involving those kids, and that is very close to my heart. And the challenge is edible landscape actually is very new to the landscape architects, and not many would be interested in venturing there because that needs some area of expertise which is not belong to them. And space is very precious in urban areas, and urban farming requires a huge space, and not all corporates would be ready to spare those type of space for this exclusive activity, because in Mumbai, for a place like Mumbai, every square feet it's money like. And you need horticulturists who think beyond normal landscape maintenance, because when you want to venture into this area, you need to first educate yourself, and you need to keep connected to the visitors continuously, and you need to answer them very patiently. Because, for example, I used to get queries like, it will be very funny, but people come to me and ask like, watermelon जमीन के ऊपर होता है क्या, नीचे होता है, और ये paddy चावल का झाड़ पेड़ में आता है क्या, मतलब. So it first time I was shocked, but then I realized they have never visited a village, so it's not their fault. So so you need to be very patient when you reply to these IT people. But I had a very long journey of last 10 years learning, interacting them, and today I'm very happy that I'm able to share this thing with you. And as mentioned here, growing your own food is like printing your own money. Once you learn this art of growing your food, then you don't need to. It's like a very, very self-sustainable lifestyle we can lead. And urban farming is one among them. And thank you, everybody, for your patience listening.
Thank you. Thank you, Rajesh. Can you stop sharing, please?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, I really appreciate with the pressure what we have of time. I think you finished in correct time. I thank you very much. I think for that, because one of the problems we have as a host is to make the timings fit properly, so everybody gets an opportunity to express. Everybody's important.